Good morning, Cedar House. Oh, good morning, guys. It's Miss Megan. Think I'm having video problems. Okay, there we go. We're going to do a science lesson today here in my backyard since we can't all be at the Cedar House, so it's good to see you all online. We're going to start with a little verse this morning, or a poem rather, called Behold. So here's our picture. Behold, above all birds and air, below all earth's flowers, inland all forest trees, seaward all ocean fish. Sing out and say again the refrain, behold this lovely world. So today we are going to talk about fish. I know you're all following along with Swiss Family Robinson, and one of the things that they encountered a bunch of different species of was fish, from the big shark that they shot all the way down to salmon and trout and sturgeon that they were eating to help them there on the island. So I think it's dark. Let me move over and see if we can lighten this up a bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go get my chalkboard so you guys can see it. And if anybody wants to take out their nature journals, they can nature journal a fish while I talk about them, okay? So let me go grab my chalkboard. All right. Hey, guys. Hi, Josh. I miss you, Josh. I'm glad to see you on here, though. All right. So this should look pretty familiar to everybody. And if Hannah Morris were here, she'd be the one to tell us that with our taxonomy tree, you can say, King Philip cried out for goodness sakes, right? So this is our taxonomy tree for fish. So the kingdom is Animalia, which is what we've been talking about all semester, right? Last time it was all plantae because we were botanists. Today we're going to be ichthyologists. We're going to be people who study fish. And we're still in the same phylum as we've been for all the things we've studied this year. Sharks and crustaceans, all of them. And then the class is olfactories, and that's going to have a lot of different animals in it. Actually, most animals fall into it. Specifically, we're going to be talking about vertebrata. And fish kind of fall into three different categories. You have jawless fish, cartilaginous fish, and bony fish. And about 40%, so almost half of fish are bony fish. And we're going to concentrate on one, salmoniformes. So salmon and trout and some of the other bony fish that you think of when you think of a fish with a spine along their back, that ridge, are going to be salmoniformes, right? So there's a bunch of different species in there and classes. I'm going to pick up my board. Can everybody see the board okay? Let's see if we can get it. So here's our board. Sorry about that noise. If you guys want to make your own drawing of a fish, that'd be great. And most fish have some parts to them that are going to be characteristic of a fish or uniform across all the different species. They have a mouth, right, to eat. And a lot of fish will eat only a diet of plants. But the fish we're talking about, these bony fish, many of them are going to be omnivores because not only do they eat things like algae and different green things that you find in the different types of water, but they also eat insects or tinier fish, right? So their mouth is pretty important to that. Gills are super important. I know that if I were at the Cedar House, a bunch of you could raise your hands and tell me about gills because they're important to fish because it's what allows them to breathe, right? Then they have a bunch of these different fins. Pelvic fin and anal fin, the dorsal fin, which is the spiny part we were talking about, the caudal fin in the back, and of course an eye. Now, different fish in different water environments are going to have different adaptations that help them be perfect species for that particular area of water. Now, we've talked about biomes a lot, right? And so we have a bunch of different biomes that fish are in. Actually, fish are going to be one of the most common things in all the biomes, which is pretty cool. So you guys think to yourselves about different biomes where you might find fish. The obvious one is the marine biome, right? In the ocean, that's where the majority of fish are. Hey, Henley, I see you showed up. Wish we could see you. I'm glad to see you here, though. So, I know that you can tell your mom at home some different biomes besides the marine biome of the ocean where we'd find fish. And it's almost all of them, right? Because even in places like the desert, there's areas with water. And fish are really, really resilient. They find places to survive almost anywhere. The Arctic is going to have them. Grasslands and the different wet spots of those will have them. All the different types of forests, tropical and savanna grasslands, all of those are going to have areas where there's water, where there are fish. Our fish today, the salmon, is found in a couple of different places. Alaska, so the United States, the rivers of the U.S., mainly up in Alaska though, and in the Atlantic, there's salmon in the oceans. We also have salmon farms, and we have to be really careful to keep farmed salmon inside the confines where they are instead of in the native populations, because when they breed, they can make it so that the salmon don't have enough diversity. Hey, Lily and Sage! Thanks for joining us.
It's rainbow!
Oh, here's Riley. She's coming out to say hi. Do you want to wave to everybody?
It's rainbow.
Riley's painting things.
Rainbow!
I love it.
It's rainbow.
Thank you. Okay.
You just have to wait until a little while until it gets rainbow.
That's right. Do you want to say hi to the Cedar House kids?
Hello!
Hello. Okay, we were talking about fish. If you guys want to stay out, you can. You want to say hi to your friends, Shane?
Hello! I can't see anybody.
No, they're all online there, though. Say hey, Henley.
Hello!
Hey, Josh. All right. Go ahead in and
Bye-bye.
you can stay out.
It's rainbow.
All right, so we're talking about how fish are found in almost every biome. So when you guys do your fish, think about all the different biomes and the types of fish you may find there. Try naming all the different kinds of fish that you can. Yeah, rainbow is a kind of trout, Miss Samantha. So I'm going to try to leave this up. So there's about 28,000 different kinds of fish found in all different types of waterways in the United States and in all the other places throughout the world. There's fish that are found only in very, very deep waters, right? And there's fish of all different sizes. Think to yourself about the tiniest fish you can think of, right? It's going to be so small you can barely see it. And then all the way up to sharks. Sharks are going to be included in that family too, so there's a lot of diversity in fish. If you can think back to the Swiss Family Robinson, think about the different types of fish that they encountered as well, right? And how fish help to keep them alive. So fish are going to be a huge source of food for many different cultures. I bet you guys have all at least tried fish, right? So we love salmon in our house. We make it frequently. Let me see if I can get that. There you go. So fish mainly have to live in the water, right? But they still need oxygen, and that's where those gills come in. A lot of these fins help them to swim, and almost any fish you'll encounter is going to have a mix of the types of fins that it has on it, so that it can find its way through the water. I want you to take a minute and think about where you find eyes on most fish. They're not going to look forward like a human Or we talked about primates, which also have forward-facing eyes. That's part of the characteristics that puts them in a specific taxonomy class, right? Fish are mostly going to have eyes that are on the two sides of their head. And so that can be helpful in some instances, but not very helpful in others. So close one of your eyes and turn your head to the side. And that's about what a fish sees on one side. But if you look forward, that's something a fish can't do. And so it affects how they have to swim and what they're taking in from their environment around them, right? And so that might make it easy for a predator to get a fish, right? So I'm going to see if I can balance that to leave it up. Probably not. People on live, do you need me to leave this up, or can this come down? I'll wait for some answers before I take it down. So I'm going to try to get this other one up, so if you want to put your taxonomy in, you can. When you guys are finished with your drawings at home, we'd love to see you send some to Miss Samantha so that we can put them on our Instagram page. And if you're not following our Instagram page, get on there so that you can see your drawings go up. When I go inside, I'm going to have Shane and Riley make clay models of fish. So if you guys want to make a clay model and label all the parts, we'd love to see those too. And then if you can make a list, some of you older kids, of all the different fish and the biomes that you would find them in, that would be awesome, right? Because you're going to find different things in the marine biome, like sharks, than you would in a pond like at the Cedar House. There were a bunch of different fish at the Cedar House laying out on the grass because it had rained so much our pond got really, really deep out there. And then when the water receded, Henley had to go on a rescue mission to put the little fish back in the pond. So thanks for saving them. But think about all the biomes, what kind of water is there, and what fish you might find there. And you guys can draw that out on paper or make clay models, and we'd really, really love to see those. So think about our Swiss Family Robinson. They relied a lot on fish to feed themselves. And all the different kinds of fish, from big, like the shark, down to the trout and the salmon that they were catching that were part of their diet, right? So that's pretty cool. So if you want to go ahead and finish your drawing up and your classification of fish, and you can look into it more and then start working on a model or a journal page and send them on into us, okay? So I'm going to take these down. We miss you all. We wish we could see you in person, but this is the next best thing. And if anybody has questions, you can always send them into Facebook or Instagram, and we'll try to answer them too. And Miss Samantha says that the fish in their pond are bluegills, and oh my goodness, Lily and Sage say the fish they're thinking of is goldfish. We like goldfish crackers too. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Good to see you.